Ready to dominate at the plate? Blast Baseball is trusted by more major league and college teams than any other hitting solution. The Blast sensor attaches to the knob of any bat, providing real-time feedback with every swing. Go to blastmotion.com and enter code NOWD1 at checkout to save $25. All right, everybody, let's get right into it. I'm Alan Gay, and this is Now D1 Speaks. On today's show, we've got assistant baseball coach from the Borough of Manhattan Community College, Coach Jacob Tobin. Hey, Coach, are you there?
I'm here, Alan. I appreciate you having me on, and I hope I can share some insightful insight.
Hey, I know you will, and thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out this evening just to have a great conversation. And you've had a fantastic career, varied career, and really looking forward to finding out more about who you are and what your philosophies are and really kind of the direction you're going to be heading. So maybe with that in mind, maybe you could just kind of give us maybe a quick introduction of just yourself and really how you got into baseball and how you got into coaching as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've wanted to work with, young people for a long time, and it took me a while to figure out which avenue I wanted to, do that through. And, I wanted to be a teacher. As a coach, you're a teacher. And I've wanted to, help kids in a lot of different ways. And my ADD is way too bad to, sit in the classroom and help out kids by being a history teacher or a professor or something like that. So, baseball was one thing that I was decent at growing up. And, the way you can connect with the kid through baseball and really try to, help them out through their lives is, a big part of it for me. So that's why I'm into coaching. There's just something about the game, you got to be a little crazy and you really got to love it. And I definitely check off those two boxes.
Hey, absolutely, man. I appreciate that run through. Thank you so much. And now you've got a great new position as an assistant coach at the Borough of Manhattan Community College, BMCC. Kind of talk to us just a little bit about your journey. I mean, at one point, you were at Sag Harbor Whalers, and then went to St. Joseph College, Brooklyn, even University of Connecticut, Avery Point. And you also were the head coach at Sunny Ulster. But now you're at BMCC. And I'm just curious, as you've had your lengthy coaching experience that you've had, how's that really influenced your philosophies? And what are some of the lessons that you're going to bring with you to BMCC?
Yeah. So, every part of the journey, you want to, try to glean a little something from, the head coach or the program, or, just add tools to your tool belt. And if we can start when I was at my first year in Sag Harbor, I was a volunteer coach, and I had just left my job as an athletic director and evening team member at a small boarding school in Vermont. And my first taste of high level, college baseball was in Sag Harbor. And the head coach, Nate Lawrence, who's one of my best friends today, he made me reaffirm, why I love baseball so much. Like we said earlier, it's a way to connect to young people. And he did it in a way where, super positive. He let me make mistakes, which I made a lot of. And he turned those into learning experiences for me. And he, never yelled at me, never called me a whatever. He was just a great guy. And like I said, he helped me reaffirm, hey, this is what I want to do. And this is the way to do it. It took me a while as a volunteer there to get caught up with the fast-paced baseball. I was used to a small school in Vermont where the kids kind of liked baseball, and this was kids that would go on to play very high-level college and pro ball. We had a kid, Joe Swazi, who's now in the AAA for the Mets. We had a kid, Ryan Murphy, who's in AA for the Giants. And we had a kid, Nick Thornquist, who played A-ball a little bit for the White Sox. So it was a lot of really, really good baseball. And, just Nate being there and being such a good guy, helped me reaffirm how much I loved it. And then I moved on to St. Joseph's College, Brooklyn, and that was my first college coaching position. And the head coach, Pete Blumenauer, he taught me so much. He taught me how to run a good practice, how to organize a good practice, and he taught me how to maximize practice times, within the constraints of the rules. And it was invaluable experience. And it was where I live in Brooklyn. I still live in the same neighborhood, so it was a great experience overall. And then after St. Joe's, I went to University of Connecticut, Avery Point, and there I met Coach Ian Ratchford, and he taught me really how to dedicate yourself to something beyond what is considered normal. He really made me understand that to be successful at coaching and recruiting, you really have to go above and beyond and not just be a part of it when you're there, but really live the whole thing. And that's what I learned there. Now at BMCC, it's Tommy, who's one of the, if not the best head coach I've ever worked for, one of the best. He's letting me figure it out a little bit and put everything together and tell me where I'm wrong and without yelling at me. So he's that's going to be a theme throughout the podcast. Not getting yelled at, but yeah, that's kind of what I've learned from those situations.
Hey, I love it. All right. So good stuff right there. One thing that I picked up on a lot of things. I mean, I think it's really kind of paints your whole background from just really wanting to work with kids, help develop kids, to working with high-level players as well, to the aspect of recruiting, how to learn how to run a practice. I mean, it's the full gamut. I love kind of your progression that you were walking through, because it really speaks to how you've been learning through each position and what it is that you're bringing now to your current position. And one thing that I thought was really cool, though, and I didn't realize this, you're in Brooklyn. So you're still living in Brooklyn.
Yes. Yeah. I'm still living in Brooklyn with my wife and my daughter. And we love it. I wish we lived somewhere with more baseball fields, but it's still a great place to be. And it's so close to, my family where we grew up in the city. So it's special to be here.
Absolutely. That's awesome stuff right there. Hey, let's talk a little bit more about Sag Harbor, the Whalers. I mean, you really did have a lot of success there. I mean, you won the Hamptons Championship and just really had a ton of success. Kind of talk to us about some of those, especially since it was really your first big role with big time baseball. Just talk about some of the key strategies and principles that really led to that success. And then maybe we could expand upon that. I just want you to talk a little bit more about really what summer baseball is all about as well.
Gotcha. Summer baseball is about learning, right? It's, if you win games, great. If you learn and you develop a little bit and you bring it back to your school afterwards, that's what we're looking for. And so, winning in summer ball is learning. I try to learn the most every year, and some years I do, and some years I learn almost as much as everybody else. Winning in summer ball is, like I said, it's getting the kids to develop, keeping them healthy, make sure they have a good summer. And for me, the most I ever learned during summer ball was when we weren't successful, when we didn't have, a winning record, and, stuff hit the fan and guys hated it. And that's when you learn the most about, who you are as a coach and how to try to motivate guys. But, the year we won it in Sag Harbor, the team loved it. They loved showing up to the ballpark. They loved hanging out with each other, and they just loved being a part of the community. And Nate Lawrence, my first year of summer ball, he told me that the team that wins it is the team that's been there. The team that wins it is the team that wants to be there at the end. And I've done summer ball in a couple different places, and Sag Harbor is a place where the kids want to be. not just for baseball, but they have host families they like. There's the beach, there's this and that, but they also have the chance to really focus and develop their baseball. So to make the long and short of it is the summer ball is about winning, and summer ball is about learning, and learning is winning in summer ball.
Absolutely. Hey, I feel like, our core audience is really uncommitted baseball prospects, primarily in high school, but it's also junior college, transfer portal guys, and then certainly the parents that really like to dial in and get some insight as to what hopefully their kids can expect when they get to the next level. I kind of want to expand just a little bit on collegiate summer baseball. And because some of these kids that are uncommitted now, they hear about it, that they may have an opportunity when they're playing college ball to go play somewhere in the summer. Kind of just talk to us overall. How does that come together? And what I mean by that, how did that team come together? Did you go out? Were you able to pick the players, or were the coaches at various colleges, they just assigned the players where they went? How long is the season essentially, like about how many games? And talk to us about like the host families. Like how does the living arrangements kind of come together as well?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So when I was part of the Perfect Game League, that was a lot different. It was the owner of the specific team went and recruited players or with the coach, and they recruited players for the team. The Hamptons League is different. The Hamptons League has a recruiter, and the recruiter's job is to make contacts with a lot of college coaches and recruit for the whole league. And then a couple of the more senior coaches in the league will then put guys at different positions, different places, and try to make the teams as even as possible. We're focused on development, and some of these other places where it's about getting, since everything happened with losing minor leagues, these other summer ball situations are now the minor leagues. And what I mean by that is they need to make money. So they need to win. They need to do this. They need to do that. And it's not beneficial for development. It's beneficial for owners sometimes to make a lot of money, but it's not beneficial for development. And why the Hamptons League is so special and why I love being part of it is we focus on, doing what's right for the kids. The coaches that have been there for a long time, we try to adhere by this code where it's, about the kids and about development. And everybody plays for the first, 30 games. And then the last 10 is you really try to, get yourself a spot for the playoffs. And then the playoffs is, of course, you try to win that. But that's kind of how the leagues differ. In the Hamptons League, the host families are huge. We couldn't do anything we do without the host families. And, some of the places where kids live are, multi-million-dollar houses, and they live in the basement, the finished basement, and they just love it. They go back to their pool or their hot tub after. So it's definitely a nice place to play summer ball.
Sounds like an awesome experience. Thank you for walking through that as well, Coach Tobin. You do an awesome job tonight. Hey, also, you founded like a baseball analytics team as well when you were with Sag Harbor. What is that? What's that all about?
So I founded the analytics team. I'm calling it a program now to try to make it sound more fancy. So yeah, it was a team a couple years ago, but now it's a program. But it's still the same thing. So what I did was, and I started this when I was actually coaching for Steve Zacco, the owner of the Newark Pilots in the Perfect Game League. And, he let me do it. And what it is I contacted, a lot of different colleges that have sports analytic majors. And the only person that got back to me was Francesco Reverso, who's the analytics internship coordinator at Syracuse University. And I don't know if you know anything about Syracuse University, but they're their school for sports management is one of the top, and one of their top programs is sports analytics. So these kids are far beyond anything I can do. That's for sure. And so I contacted him. He gave me the name about 3-4 kids that might be interested, and they became the analytics team. And I said, hey guys, I don't know what analytics is. I don't know what analytics is, guys. Could you please try to get some reports together? And one of the kids, Dan Beam, came up with these pitching reports where we'd have guys sitting behind home plate, and they'd be getting pitch type, pitch location, velocity. Was it a strike? Did the batter swing? Was the ball put in play? And they'd take this information and they'd send it away to Dan. And Dan would then create these pitching reports. So that was the first year we did it. And then the second year we did it was in the Hamptons League. And there we did pitching reports for the entire league. And then last year we did that. We did the pitching reports for every team as well. But then we also introduced something I call the RAT, which is the Recon Analytics Team. And these were supposed to be my, special forces of the analytics program. And what they did was they went to my players on my team and they said, hey, what information do you want? How can we get it to you? And they only talked to my hitters. And my hitters asked them to go and get information on other teams' pitchers. What did they throw in this count? Where was their velocity on this pitch? But it was mostly of what came in what count, what pitch they'd see in what count. And we had Danielle and Jonah did a phenomenal job for me. They came to a lot of games and they tried to get as much information on the other team as possible on their pitchers, what they threw, and they presented to my guys in reports, my guys and girls in reports where it was simple for them to understand, but also had a lot of information for it. And Jonah, they split it up into a couple guys doing different teams. And Jonah did the team from North Fork, and he did such a good job for me that we broke the first day he came with his reports. We broke the home run record for our team. We hit 4 home runs in 1 inning. And it was just wild. And we've never done anything like that, especially in our park.
Man, that is awesome. What a great rundown. And the best part was you were never yelled at. I think that's awesome.
I was never yelled at. No.
So that was, exactly. You checked that box off immediately.
Yes.
Hey, good stuff. So on something else that you have founded and another platform that is very, very successful is a recruiting platform. And it's primarily through X, formerly known as Twitter, and that's at BU Uncommitted. So, first, what does BU stand for?
It's just baseball uncommitted. So the B stands for baseball, and then it's just uncommitted. It doesn't really stand for anything except baseball and uncommitted players.
Makes sense. A simple approach. I love it. And so, how can players that are finding you, prospects that find you on X, and they find BU Uncommitted, how do they leverage your platform to really be seen?
So what I do is I just I retweet, and I'm at the point where people in the know that want to be seen will just tag at Be Uncommitted, and what I do is I just go with my finger, not getting yelled at on my computer, all the way over, and I just hit the retweet button, and that's it. That's all I do, and what it does is it then gets broadcast to everybody that follows me. And I'm followed by almost 1,000 college coaches and pro scouts. So we get kids seen. And, I'm sure of that 1,000, maybe 50 actually watch the videos. But, it's one of the top platforms to help, kids get seen on Twitter by these coaches. But, obviously, you can only tell so much from a video. and the kid has to, be a really good student, and the kid has to have, this, that, and the other thing to really get seen. And all I'm doing is just hitting that retweet button and hopefully creating a spark where a coach sees something he likes in a kid, and they'll go and do their, research on the kid further.
Absolutely, man. I think what you're doing is outstanding. I love it, because I tell you, there's so many good ball players that are out there, and one of the hardest things for them is to really get noticed and to get seen. And in the coaching circles and the coaching jobs you've had, hey, man, recruiting budgets are limited, and there's only so many guys, there's only so many coaches, there's only so much time. So your network is really the network that you've developed on your own. So a lot of times you are reliant on platforms like X. I think it's a great opportunity for kids, and I think what you're doing is outstanding. So let me ask you something. When you kind of balance those two, and the two, I mean, the analytics piece that you've really gotten involved with, the data-driven, with kind of just thinking about the recruiting side too, the human side. As a coach, how do you really balance analytics with your eyes as well, just kind of the human development?
That's a really good question, and I don't know. And there's definitely not a right answer for that one, because you like a kid, you like how he acts with his teammates. He shows up early, he gets the job done, but his exit velo isn't to the standards of your program. Where is the line there? I don't know. I don't know where the line is. For me, it's a good way. The Twitter page is a good way to see guys, and then you, of course, have to do your research after. You see somebody with a good 60 or an exit velo that you like, and then you really got to go and do your homework afterwards. So where's the line? I don't know. But as soon as I find it, I'll let you know.
Well, as long as you're not being yelled at, then you got the right line.
That's
no question about it. Yeah, and that's what makes baseball so interesting. I mean, I think, there's just tons of data, and I think the data even changes all the time. I can, 20 years ago, if when they were going to pick a Cy Young winner, it almost always fell on who had the most wins, who had the lowest ERA. And now I don't know if those are necessarily the two stats that are really being judged. I mean, there's so many other things that come into play. And I think that's the cool thing about baseball. It just keeps evolving. And so where that line comes together, who knows if anyone will ever figure it out. But there's some little pseudoscience that goes into being successful. And I think coaches like you just kind of figure that out. It's a combination of the two, obviously. Hey, everyone that's kind of tuning into our podcast, absolutely appreciate the support of me, now D1 Speaks, and certainly appreciate the support of Coach Jacob Tobin as well. If you're interested in being part of an atmosphere like this, reach out to me. You can find me on X at @now_D1. If you're an uncommitted prospect, it's a great way to be heard. And if you're a college coach and you just really want to kind of go through your career and talk a little bit about the program that you're representing today, it's a great way to highlight that program as well. Coach Tobin, one thing I do want to touch on as well, our core audience not only is the uncommitted prospect, but it is college coaches. Thinking about the Hampton League, and kind of that grassroots start that you had, what advice would you potentially have to someone who's interested in getting really involved in coaching and wants to make a career out of coaching?
Well, a great place to start is always a summer league, and if you can throw BP and you can volunteer, a lot of places will take you. And when I joined when I started working for the Hamptons League, I was, like I said, I was behind. Everything was way faster than I was used to in Vermont, and I just learned. I just kept my mouth shut for a little bit and tried to take it all in. Being around guys that are going to go on to play in the major leagues, and being around coaches that have been doing it for so long, you just learn. And you got to keep your mouth shut and learn and watch for a little bit, but then you got to, ask questions. And summer ball and that sort of environment where it's low stress, right? Good summer bowl is low stress. It's just kids playing. That's a great place to learn, right? You're not going to hopefully you won't get yelled at. Yeah, a summer bowl experience is definitely something I recommend to somebody trying to get into coaching. When I first got into the Hamptons League, my experience was I played a couple years of college baseball, and then I really didn't do anything for baseball for a while. I coached a small high school, but I didn't do anything in college baseball. So really finding a place where they take me to volunteer, and then volunteering and going through it, the Hamptons League was great for me in that respect.
Awesome, man. Hey, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you how is BMCC looking? How'd you do in the fall, and what's really the expectation for the spring?
We're looking pretty good. I mean, we'll see what happens. Our fall was good. We brought in quite a few kids from all over the world, and hopefully we can put a couple wins together and really try to get this going here. Coach Tommy has been doing a great job there for a couple of years, and since I've jumped on, I think we're going to be able to bring in some more recruits through Be Uncommitted, but also tell recruits that, hey, I have the biggest platform on Twitter for recruits. I'm going to post you on there as much as I can, and that's a good way for kids to come, of course, develop and then get exposure and go on. So we'll see how we do. I'm optimistic. I know we are a little deeper in pitching than we've been, and we had a kid that we sent D1 last year, Nico. We sent him to Manhattan College, and I don't know if anybody on this team is his level, but we're definitely deeper than we've been in the past. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
That's good stuff right there. That was interesting. You said you had a couple of guys from around the world, so you've got some international guys as well.
Yeah, we brought in some international kids that we think could come and do a good job for us. A couple kids from Dominican Republic, a couple kids from Europe, and we'll see. We think I've always felt that you get a kid, an international kid from a non-traditional baseball background, a country with a non-traditional baseball background. You get them and they develop a little quicker because they're seeing good baseball every day. So maybe that'll happen for us.
Absolutely. And can I ask you about just overall roster? Like what size roster are y'all carrying? And do you expect to carry the same size roster into the spring?
So yeah, we had a lot of kids that were trying out for us, and we let them try out all fall. So a couple of those kids won't be back on the spring roster, but we're going to carry about 32 guys. So it's limited. We have a lot of two-ways that if they went other places, they'd be POs. So we got a lot of two-ways that are going to play well for us, pitch well for us, and hopefully we can keep their arms in good enough shape where they can be good the whole year for us.
Well, I got to tell you, Coach, that's a small roster. I love it. I mean, that's if I'm a guy looking for an opportunity to play, that would really catch my attention because in many regards, it's about development still. I mean, you got to win baseball games. There's no question about it, but you also have to have an opportunity to kind of develop just a little bit. And if I'm hearing that you guys have a roster of 30 to 32, that kind of piques my interest.
For us, the most important things are development and then getting you to a bigger, better place. And guys love to hear that. And a lot of JUCOs are focused on development and winning. And trust me, we love winning. But we're mostly focused on development, right? We develop our guys; they're going to take care of us and have good games. But we're also really focused on getting guys to a better situation, right? We're a good situation, but we want guys to sort of figure out, how important education is, what kind of career they want to do, and we push guys in the right direction. we send kids D1, we send kids D2, we send kids D3. We're all about finding the best fit for our guys, and that's why people come to BMCC for the relationships Coach Tommy, myself, and Coach Martinez have with other coaches, and development.
Well, let's keep talking about recruiting just a little bit. I mean, the recruiting landscape has changed drastically over the last 3 or 4 years. Certainly with COVID being a large part of that, where you started seeing a lot of extra year players, 6-year players, and so forth. And then the transfer portal certainly has had an impact, just a major impact over the last couple of years. And even with the D1 contact rules changing, there was an impact felt this year. How do you see recruiting, kind of moving forward, and how have you been able to adapt to these changes?
I've always felt that recruiting through social media and through going to some of these sites and watching videos is gonna be the future. Like we talked about earlier, budget constraints with small schools, schools that can only have 2 paid coaches. It's a lot to go out and find the best talent, especially if you're traveling all the time. And a lot of old school coaches will say, hey, you need to see the person play, in person. But the reality is, especially after COVID, pro contracts have been given to players just by, seeing a video and then talking to their trusted coaches and then getting recommendations for coaches and seeing Rapsodo and Flight Scope data. Getting those things is sometimes as good as seeing them in person. So I think there's going to be a lot more recruiting through social media. It might start to go back a little bit, but I feel like, especially with limited budgets, the future might be on social media, might be on video, might be on, recruiters that do a great job setting up cameras and, getting good data and video. So it could go less and less in terms of, in-person recruiting and more social media based.
Coach, I got to tell you, man, I have really, really enjoyed tonight. I mean, you have just got a great insight. You got a great career. I love your social platform. I know that our core audience that is going to be listening, if they haven't already started following at Be Uncommitted, they will. I think that's a fantastic platform. I think just the piece that you still have 1,000 coaches following you while you're a coach, I think that speaks a lot in and of itself right there. And I think that your progression in your coaching career is going fantastic. I love that when I asked you, hey, how's the outlook for BMCC? You know what? You had a positive outlook, but you were quick to say, hey, we're all about development. And we're here to see guys get to wherever it is that they want to go after they're through with BMCC, whether it's D1, D2, NAIA, D3, wherever it may end up being. That's the goal, And I think you got a great perspective. Been just an awesome, awesome night. I hope that you've really enjoyed it as well.
Oh no, I absolutely have. Any chance I get to reiterate what I've heard smarter baseball people say, I'm happy to do so. And I really enjoy it, and we're both in the same sort of field, and that's promoting these kids and getting them hopefully to better situations at some point.
No doubt about it. You're 100% right. And before we end, there's one other question I would like to ask you, and that's really in regards to younger kids. And one of the age groups that I would really like to address this question toward is freshmen in high school, guys that are really just kind of starting their high school career. What advice would you give them that would really put them in a position to be successful for as long as they have the playing ability to be successful?
Man, that's tough because that you don't know really who you are as a freshman. I feel you might fall out of love with baseball. So for young guys, for young freshmen, it's really find out if this is what you love to do. And by the time you're a sophomore, your summer as a sophomore, that's a big one. And then as you enter your junior year, that's really when you have to start, figuring out, hey, I love college baseball. I want to make this part of my future. Where is this going to fit in terms of my academics, right? Because for most guys, we trick you. You play baseball for 4 years and then you walk out with a degree. Of course, there's a couple guys that you develop like crazy and you go play in the big leagues. But my main advice for someone that's a freshman is listen to your coaches and really try to figure out if this is something you love to do.
Man, that's good advice right there, Coach Tobin. And I got to tell you again, thank you so much for being on. And I can do nothing but wish you the absolute best of success, not only in your future, but as well as BMCC right now. So thank you again for being on. And just absolutely appreciate the time that you spent with us.
Of course. And, you could also send me some players. We're always, looking for arms and, we're looking for leadership as well. So if you're a player out there and you want to go to a place where you can develop for a couple of years and go find the perfect spot, give us a call at BMCC.
Man, that is awesome. And I can't think of a better way to end tonight than with that. So everyone that was able to dial in, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate the support, and good night. Hey, let me ask you something. Are you ready to dominate at the plate this season? Blast Baseball is the #1 hitting improvement solution, trusted by more major league, college, and travel ball teams than any other. The Blast sensor attaches to the knob of any bat, providing real-time feedback with every swing. Metrics are automatically sent to a smartphone app, generating insights that allow you to analyze and improve your hitting like never before. Go to blastmotion.com and enter code NOWD1 and you will save $25 at checkout. Unlock your potential with Blast.